Welcome everybody to Intensity Broadcasting. My name is Josh Hall. This is the Doghouse Racing League Tuesday night ARCA series brought to you by Trackside NASCAR Outlet here on iRacing. Getting ready for the Dagnabbit 125 here at Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to be an awesome one here tonight. If you're a fan of super speedway racing, this one is for you. The chase starts tonight as well, so a little bit of a exciting one here tonight. And we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight after the little bit of a holiday break. Glad to have everybody back, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Kick, or over on Twitch. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Again, don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. And hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. So 47 laps here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. Let's take a look at our points, which have been reshuffled for tonight. You see your points leader, Hunter Simpson, at the top with 2,011 points. Ray Rittenauer back there with 2,006. And you can see how all the points have reshuffled back with all the bonus points, stage points that everybody accrued throughout the season. We'll leave this on the screen so you can see where your favorite driver is. But yeah, big shakeup here in the points. Getting ready for what we're going to have here with our 3-race chase to decide a champion. A couple big winners here in the shakeup. You see both Brandon Trush and Kevin Hash both jumping up 4 spots respectively with the reshuffle. So it's going to be a great one here tonight. A couple drivers losing a few spots, but hey, it's Talladega. A lot of things can happen. Right now we've got drivers. Some drivers are out there making mock qualifying attempts. A few minutes ago we did see a bunch of drivers out there. Got a couple drivers out there drafting. That is not really drafting practice right there. But we see Matthew Smith and Hunter Simpson both out there trying to get some qualifying practice underway. Of course, here at Talladega, it's not about who has the fastest car, who has the best qualifying position. It's all about who your friends are and who are going to work with you, and how you're going to have friends out there to help push you around. We see a group of cars coming off pit road now with about 2.5 minutes to go as Jamie Horn takes out the 23 coming off of pit road. Having a little bit of fun there. Kevin Brown gets a chunk of it there as well as they're having a little bit of fun here before we get racing underway. Of course, you don't want to pit alone here at Talladega. You want to come in with a group of people. 1 car alone is going to be slower than 2 cars. 2 cars will be slower than 3 cars. And as the pack gets longer, the speeds will increase. We'll see 2 3-wide races. We saw some 3-wide in practice earlier today, and I'm sure we're going to see much more of that as well as the racing goes on here tonight. Of course, teammates are going to be a big factor here as well, and we're going to talk about the different words, a couple of words that we don't normally use. Words like the energy, where the energy is coming, which line's going to have the most energy and momentum out there. The draft, the side draft, drivers getting right up on that outside door of the driver next to them, trying to push the air, which comes off these cars like a wake, right onto that big spoiler on the back of these cars to slow them down. So there's a lot of things that drivers have in their control. There's a lot of things that drivers have completely out of their control. And what that will be is the other 25 drivers out there with them. So 26 cars expected to start here tonight. And super speedway racing, especially here at Talladega, it's a lot like playing chess at 200 miles an hour, and you'll see that as the race goes on. So we got about a minute left here in practice before we get things underway. Of course, we want to thank all of our great partners that make this possible here tonight, including our series sponsor, Trackside NASCAR Outlet, which is an authorized Lionel dealer with a full line of diecast, including Lionel diecast, including Cup, O'Reilly's, Truck Series, as well as driver's apparel, hats, jackets, more. Check them out on their website. Visit their store. Check them out on Facebook at NASCAR Outlet. Trackside NASCAR Outlet.com. I'm sorry, I didn't have the read up in front of me. I was trying to go off the head there. Also, our great partner over at Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is a well-known established leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. Check out which Butt Kicker product would be best for you by visiting thebuttkicker.com. And so I don't have any more stumbles here. I'm going to make sure to have my ad read up on the screen for me here tonight, as qualifying is about to get underway. Of course, we've got the chat open as well. If you have a favorite driver you want to cheer on, you want to give a shout out, give it to us right here. We'll get you on the broadcast. We'll let your favorite drivers know you're thinking of them. We have our first drivers making their way out onto the racetrack, starting with the 8 of Mike Leftwich. Daniel Wilkerson also making his way out onto the racetrack. Frank Hughes, most drivers. And now we're seeing the pit road, end of pit road, being very, very busy. Of course, solo qualifying here, so just one driver out at a time on the racetrack, but these drivers are all out at the same time. Jamie Horn also out there coming down into turn number 3. And Talladega is a bit of a unique shaped racetrack as well. Reason being is the start-finish line is not in the center of the tri-oval. See, as they come across the stripe right there, you see that red line between the tri-oval and turn 1. That is the start-finish line. So to make things a little more exciting, the start-finish line is moved. We'll see how that comes into play here tonight. As Jamie Horn is the first driver who's going to be able to complete his lap coming down into turn number 3. Staying right there along that yellow line, there's a couple different ways to qualify here. Some drivers like to use this lap to keep their car right up against the wall on their first lap, trying to get that car wound up the best they can. You see here Kevin Brown right down along that yellow line, trying to take the shortest way around. So a couple different ways. Kevin Brown says should be a fun race tonight, and I agree, it should be here at Talladega. Hearing on the radio too, a reminder to the drivers, they are not allowed to go below the double yellow line in qualifying. We know they can't do it in the race, but in qualifying they're not able to do it as well. As currently Jamie Horn at the top of the leaderboard. See Gary Clune just went P2. Jason Ross back in P3. Steve Bonomo P4. But again, it doesn't matter where you start. It's all about where you finish, who your friends are, and how you make your way on and off of pit road here under green, if we have green flag pit stops, as well as avoiding the big one. It's not if the big one's going to happen, it's when is the big one going to happen. And that's exactly what we're going to be watching for here tonight. As Adam Gardner in the 56 machine just went P2. And that family channel machine, made famous by Ted Musgrave back in the 90s. Here comes Jason Ross coming down to the stripe on his second lap. He goes a little bit a little bit slower on his second lap. He's going to be back there as Chris Leftwich just jumped up into P number 4. See if there's anybody else who's got a chance to make take away that lap here. Here's Ray Rittenor coming off of turn number 2 as that car wound up, and you'll see the speeds. If we pull up that the speed here on this driver, you'll see 177, 178 by himself. When they get in the draft, they're going to be up into the 180, 190 range. So big difference in speed, about 15, 20 miles an hour faster in the pack than by themselves. We'll pull that up later on and when they're in the pack to compare speeds. But here comes Ray Rittenor coming down to the stripe. Looks like we got about 30 seconds left here before we get racing underway. As Hunter Simpson, just noticed, went to the top of the leaderboard. Ray Rittenor just went second quickest, so a couple quick times there as Jackson Sibley just making his way down into turns 1 and 2. He will not be able to set a qualifying time here, so he will be starting from the rear as time has expired on the clock. And we get ready to look at our starting grid here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. And on pole is the 5 of Hunter Simpson. Ray Rittenor are going to roll off from P2. Jamie Horn and Kevin Brown make up row number 2. Row 3 will find the 8 of Mike Leftwich with Adam Gardner back in the 6 spots. Chris Leftwich and Gary Clune back in row number 4. Row 5 will be Tyler Millette and the 61 of Frank Hughes Jr., Mark Dumont, and Richard Leclerc. A couple Canadians back in row number 6. Christopher Simon rolls off from the 13th spot. 14th is going to be Bill Gentry. Daniel Wilkinson rolls off from the 15th position with the 60 of Michael Dow in the 16th spot. John Smith and Jason Ross make up row number 9 with Stephen Bonomo and Brandon Trush back in row number 10. Row 11 will find Josh Cully and Ken Byers Jr., Justin McMahon and Jackson Sibley back in row number 12. And rounding out the field here tonight in row 13 will be Matthew Smith and Andrew St. Cor. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Kick, over on Twitch. You're watching live or after the fact, we do appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Of course, don't want to forget about our great partners. I got the ad read this time. Your series brought to you by Trackside NASCAR Outlet, which is an authorized Lionel dealer with a full line of diecasts, including Cup, O'Reilly's truck, driver apparel, hats, and jackets. Trackside NASCAR Outlet offers everything NASCAR, including full-size and mini helmets, flags, and coolers. Stop by and check out their store, follow them on Facebook, or check out their website at www.tracksidenascar. Try that one more time. Check out their website at TracksideNASCAROutlet.com. It's been a couple weeks. I had a couple weeks off, so I apologize. I'm a little bit on the rusty side here tonight. Also, can't forget about our great partner over at Butt Kicker, which is established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out what's right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. Don't forget to check out the Doghouse Racing League's website over at doghouseracingligue.com for schedules, point standings, merch, and stats, news, and more. So check them all out, link down below in the description. As we get ready to go racing here in the Dagnabbit 125 from Talladega Superspeedway Field, making their way through turns 3 and 4. Hunter Simpson going to choose the inside. He's going to have a teammate lined up behind him. Mike and Chris Leftwich lined up on that inside lane as well. So a bunch of fast cars working together on that inside row. As the pace car are going to take that hard left-hand turn. That's going to be a while before these drivers get up to speed coming down the front stretch and through the tri-oval. As we mentioned before, where the start-finish line is located here at Talladega Superspeedway. Here goes the pace car taking that hard left-hand turn. It's going to feel like an eternity as the field makes their way down to the starting zone. And you'll see it at the bottom of the screen as it comes into view. All right there. And the green flag will fly. And we are racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. Cars get up to speed coming down into turn number 1 for the first time. It's going to take these drivers about a lap and a half to get up to full speed. 2x2 all the way through the pack. One driver, it looks like Matthew Smith maybe in danger of losing the pack here. Andrew St. Cyr did not start the race, but Matthew Smith in a heap of trouble right now. Looks like he's already lost the draft. We haven't even made it to turn number 3. We've got one driver. Looks like Ken Byers already trying to force a 3 wide before we even made it to turn number 3. Up to the outside of Jason Ross and David Wilkerson. They come down the short sheet towards the tri-oval. Up front, Hunter Simpson just barely in front of the 87 Ray Rittenor. Now Rittenor going to take the lead as they come down across the stripe, and Rittenor is going to lead lap number 1. Again, stage on lap number 24. If we have 2 cautions before then we'll not throw the caution flag for the stage. However, if we stay green or only have 1 caution, there will be a stage break. One driver who's already looking forward to that stage break is the 82 of Matthew Smith, who has lost the draft, and at the speed he's going, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, because we can see right now he's running about 170, 175 miles an hour. We grab a driver right in the middle of the pack. Here's Gary Clune. He's doing at 187, almost 190 miles an hour, so big difference in speed. As the field already starting to get 3 wide, as there's Adam Gardner jumps up to the high side, trying to pick up that top lane. Let's see who's up there. We see up there on that top lane, Adam Gardner. You've got the 23 of Brandon Trush, 00 of Jason Ross, Ken Byers up there as well. So already these drivers starting to make it 3 wide. Jackson Sibley jumps up there. There goes the 11 of Clune up to the high side. Now he's going to try to lead that top train as they come 3 wide. Down across the stripe, your leader was Hunter Simpson, but here comes Gary Clune with a big run up on that high side with a big push from Adam Gardner. Now you can push that driver, but you can't push the pusher. So that driver that's sitting back there in the 3rd spot, he does not want to try to push on that 56 machine. As here comes Jamie Horn up the middle, trying to take the lead 3 wide in the middle. Normally that middle lane is the sucker hole, and it actually slowed down both the middle and bottom lane, allowing Gary Clune and Adam Gardner to sneak up to the front. Now Gardner going to take it all the way down to the bottom. Here goes the 23 of Trush, also moving his way down. That's going to leave Gary Clune up there. That momentum on that high side is going to disappear, as here comes Adam Gardner coming to try to lead this lap as they come down through the tri-oval and down across the stripe. And no, Gary Clune is going to be the leader at the stripe that time, by just a few inches. As big checkup on that top lane. Fortunately, nothing happened up there. But it looked like the 00 almost turned the 11, so he lifted to get out of it. Big checkup on that high side, and Jackson Sibley gonna fall all the way to the back, as he was just running up in the top 5. Now he finds himself back in the 18th position. That's just how quickly things happen here at Talladega Superspeedway. Again, talking about that big one, we always have a big one here at Talladega. It's not if the big one's going to happen, but when the big one's going to happen. And here in the Doghouse Racing League, we do not have resets, so any damage accrued during the wreck, they'd have to get fixed up before getting back on the racetrack, if they can get it fixed up. So we'll be watching for that, as Gary Clune now starting to lose some momentum, fall back. Jamie Horn now, who was just battling for the lead just a few moments ago, now he finds himself in the middle of the hornet's nest. Up front, Hunter Simpson and Adam Gardner, again, side by side. Gardner with a big push here from the 87 of Ray Rittenor. Up on the high side, you've got the 5 of Adam Gardner, again, pushed by Kenneth Byers. And me, I love super speedway racing. I'm a super speedway guy. The guy I want to be right now is that 87 of Ray Ritenour. He can kind of control, or sorry, that is the 56 of Adam Gardner. He can kind of control the race. Actually, Adam Gardner was not in that spot, but he is now. But he can kind of control that race, let that high lane start to get a little bit of a run, get that low lane some energy moving forward. So that's the spot I like to be, especially in this part of the race right here before the stage. Just trying to set yourself up for max points, as Ken Byers now going to slide down in front of Hunter Simpson to take that top spot away. And Jason Ross now with Brandon Trush trying to move forward. Up on the high side, we see Jamie Horn starting to form that third lane up there. He's got Jackson Sibley up there. It looks like just those two. Is now Trush going to jump up to the high side. Going to try to pull along Jamie Horn and Jackson Sibley. Meanwhile, Hunter Simpson and Adam Gardner are kind of playing the two-car tango right now, pulling away a little bit from the rest of the field. Although in super speedway racing, that is not what you want to do. You do not want to build too much of a gap there, as it can easily let the field catch right back up at a great rate of speed. These cars drive really well. They punch a big hole in the air, which allows for the draft to really pull up the cars around them, as we see three wide racing still here in the middle of the pack. Tight three wide racing at that, as Jamie Horn was just door to door, sandwiched between two drivers. So 24 cars in this lead pack. Again, Matthew Smith all by himself on an island by himself. Not where he wants to be, as you see Brandon Trush going to take the lead away from Hunter Simpson with a big shove here from Jamie Horn as they come down the backstretch towards turn number 3. Throw that track map up here and you can see just where Matthew Smith is. Field coming off of turn number 4. Smith just coming off of turn number 2. So about halfway, half a track between these guys. And if it keeps going like this, he will get lapped before the stage. Unless the yellow was to come out, which right now does not look like it would be. These drivers are doing a great job racing hard, racing clean, and keeping all the cars pointed in the right direction. Everybody back to two wide up front, more middle of that single file. As things are starting to calm down just a little bit. As I say that, we got one car poking way out to the high side. That's Jason Ross all by himself. Going to lose a couple spots here. Here comes the 117 of Richard Leclerc. And Frank Hughes Jr. going to push through as well, as Gary Clune going to take the lead of this race away from Brandon Trush with a big shove from Jackson. I'm sorry, that is John Smith and Jackson Sibley up on the high side. Now Sibley's going to move down to the inside lane. And here comes Gary Clune in the 11 to throw a little bit of a block down there to keep that low lane at bay. See flames coming out the side of the cars there in the middle of the pack. These drivers having to do a little bit of lifting. It's like bumper-to-bumper traffic at 200 miles an hour here. We right along here with Chris Leftwich. Hear just how much he's having to modulate that throttle. Trying not to run up on the car in front of him. Whenever you go to driver up front here. Jamie Horn getting a big shove here now from Trush as we see it right through the front there. Jamie Horn all by himself now out front. Well, Gary Clune trying to take that lead back away, and he is just barely there, but here comes a side draft coming through. Dustin Dean says, lucky I ain't racing. Dustin, good to see you in the chat there. Glad to see you're doing well. Be exciting if you're out here racing, that's for sure. As the field makes their way down the backstretch, and you can see Matt Smith just entering turn number 3. He is going to be going a lap down very, very soon. Fortunately for him, he might be able to grab the pack as they come by and hopefully stay with them. He would be the only car a lap down, so he would get the lucky dog at the stage. So far, we've had quite a few lead changes as here comes Brandon Trush to the front, taking the lead away from Gary Clune. I've not really been keeping track, but I want to say that's probably 10 or 12 lead changes already on lap 14. Here comes one car out of line. That is the 99 of Ken Byers. Thought about trying to make something happen up there. Nobody went with him, though. So he's going to lose a couple of positions and tuck right in behind the 83 of Chris Leftwich. Brandon Trush still up front, but here comes the 117 of Richard Leclerc with the 61 of Frank Hughes Jr. in tow. Leclerc wants to take over the race lead here on lap number 15 as they come down through turns 1 and 2. And down the backstretch. And on TV with these drivers and these drivers here in the Doghouse Racing League Trackside NASCAR Outlet ARCA series, you see a lot of the incidents happen on the straightaways. That's because as these cars go through the corner, they're very loaded up. This is where the cars handle the best. They've got all that downforce and all that side force going through the corner, really keeping these cars glued to the racetrack. Here through the tri-oval, this is where the cars handle the worst. Very, very flat. Still having to put some input into the wheel, but as they come down the straightaway, these cars really start to snake around and move around due to the wind and the other drivers around them. As we are just a few laps away from our stage, Richard Leclerc has taken the lead of the race away from Brandon Trush and starting to pull away from that top lane as the 61 of Gary Clune really has no help. All the energy right now on that low lane. And a bunch of drivers coming down to pit road as well. See if we can name them all here as they come down onto the pit road. See Jamie Horn, Brandon Trush, Gary Clune. We see it's Justin McMahon coming down onto pit road. John Smith, Kevin Brown, Michael Dow, Stephen Bonomo, Matthew Smith, who just went a lap down. He came down in pit as well. So about half the field coming down pit road that time, and here comes the rest of the field. Going to come down pit road this time, it looks like. We know at least Jason Ross coming down pit road in 117, so here comes another group of cars. It's like the Leftwich is staying out. Again, everybody down on the pit road cleanly. Jackson Sibley going to be one of the first ones to pit here. He's trying to find his way over to his pit stall. And that leaves the Shoney's team out on the racetrack by themselves. Mike, Chris Leftwich, Christopher Simon, Adam Gardner all out here together. We'll see if they come down pit road this time. or if they try to stretch it all the way to the end. And it looks like they're all going to come down pit road this time. That's going to complete green flag pit stops. Now, how did the rest of the pack fare? Well, let's take a look here. We're going to pull up our track map here so we can kind of see where everybody is. And now we see a bunch of different groups as Matt Smith gets past there. That's going to put him 2 laps down. We see this group right here, led by Ray Rittenor. That's about 4 seconds back to our second group. And third group kind of split up at the moment, trying to get single file. And then you've got Mark Dumont and Gary Clune running by themselves, with Jason Ross and Ken Byers running by themselves in front. Sorry, that is Jason Ross and Michael Dow, then Mark Dumont and Gary Clune. And John Smith running all by himself. Not where you want to be. Same with Jackson Sibley. We saw Jackson slide him coming into his pit stall. Looked like he almost overdrove his stall, or might have overdrove his stall. As you see, the pack's trying to get organized here. But the drivers who are in the best shape right now is this lead group led by Ray Rittenor. Now this second group has gotten fully organized and together. They're even making passes on the outside as that long snake led by, looks like Josh Cully in the 88. He's got that train behind him, and they are coming in a hurry. If we take a look at speeds at the moment, Josh Cully, 188, almost 190 miles an hour. See what he peaks here going into turn number 1, 188. And your other group here doing about 185, so about 3 miles an hour quicker. That second group is with all those extra cars. Plus, these guys really not lined up as tightly as that back group is. See a bit of separation between all 5 cars here. And while that's the safest way and still a little bit quick, it's nothing like what this second group is doing. Being nose to tail, giving some pushes, being right there up underneath that bumper as some positions are starting to be swamped a little bit more in the rear, as Steve Bonomo realizes that they're not going to have enough time to catch that front group, so he's going to try to get all the points he can coming towards the stage end in 3 laps. Now the second group, 3 wide racing, we see Christopher Simon up on the high side get a big shove by, Christopher Leftwich up on the high side, get a big shove by Christopher Simon and Mike Leftwich up there on the high side. So the Shoney boys all working together on the high side, with Ken Byers coming in to help that top group out. And almost cuts off the nose of Stephen Bonomo. Had to lift a little bit, but Bonomo going to stay right there on the back bumper of the 99. He's going to try to push that car forward with the 117 of Richard Leclerc in tow. So our top 5 has not changed. They continue to run nose to tail. As, one car way out of shape coming back up onto the racetrack. That was Josh Cully in that Bojangles machine. And we're starting to see some desperation here and some bad pushes in the middle of this pack. As the four of Bill Gentry going to move right up on the back bumper of Josh Cully. You see just how much that little bit of a checkup really hurt this middle pack here. As the front three cars of this group, the Shoney's boys, starting to pull away from this group behind them, as we will be coming to the yellow flag when they cross the stripe this time by. Some more jockeying for position here in the middle of the pack. So Chris Leftwich currently leading Chris Simon and Mike Leftwich, but you've got the 88 of Josh Cully was trying to make some moves there. Kevin Brown in this mix as well. As Jamie Horn makes his way to the stripe, trying to take the win here in the stage. And he will indeed get the stage win, as there is the caution for the stage. We'll wait for these drivers to get lined up behind the pace car so we can find the exact running order of the stage. Again, we know Jamie Horn was the stage winner. Driver not running for points here tonight. Definitely trying to get some trophy hunting here. The field's going to pick up the pace car coming off of turn number 2. I do imagine we'll see everybody come back down pit road here, top off, try to make it to the end. Though I do believe we will need one more green flag pit stop, unless a caution comes out here towards the end. So your stage was Jamie Horn, Justin McMahon, Brandon Trush, Hunter Simpson, Ray Rittenor, Mike Leftwich, Josh Cully, Chris Leftwich, Kevin Brown, and Christopher Simon, rounding out your top 10. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Kick, or Twitch. Don't forget that like button, follow, subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Of course, don't forget to check out the Doghouse Racing League's great website over at doghouseracingle.com for stats, standings, schedules, news, and more, as well as check out their merch store while you're there as well. Of course, we can't forget about our series sponsor, Trackside NASCAR Outlet. Trackside NASCAR Outlet is an authorized Lionel dealer with a full line of diecast, including Cup, O'Reilly's, truck, driver apparel, hats, and jackets. Trackside NASCAR Outlet offers everything NASCAR, including full-size and mini helmets, flags, and coolers. Stop by and check out their store, follow them on Facebook, or check out their website at TracksideNASCAROutlet.com. And as I expected, the entire field going to make their way down on the pit road here, led by the 48 of Jamie Horn. Looks like Matthew Smith is going to get one of his laps back here, as it's fuel for mostly everybody. Looks like Jamie Horn may have taken some tires. Yeah, Jamie Horn took 2 tires. So, or 4 tires, excuse me. So 2 tires for Hunter Simpson, Kenneth Byers, Justin McMahon, Brandon Trush, Ray Rittenor, Chris Leftwich, Frank Hughes, fuel only. Mike Leftwich with 2 tires, Christopher Simon 2 tires. Bill Gentry also taking fuel only. Jamie Horn with first driver on 4 tires. Josh Cully 2 tires, Richard Leclerc fuel only. Kevin Brown with 4 tires. Mark Dumont, Michael Dow, Gary Clune, all with fuel only. So a bunch of different strategies. Now, fortunately here at Talladega Superspeedway, the tires really don't get too much wear. So unless you're really pushing or sawing on the wheel, you should be all right as far as how tire wear works out. Looks like when we come by the start-finish line this time, we'll get the 1 to go. So it'll be a great time to remind you to check out our great partner over at the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is a well-known established leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products, figure it's right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. A bunch of drivers making their way down pit road. Going to top off. Be easier to say which drivers didn't come down pit road. That's Bill Gentry, Richard Leclerc, Tyler Millette stay out on the racetrack. Everybody else coming down pit road getting fuel. Try to see if they can stretch this one as far as it will go. So we're going to line up like this. Bill Gentry, Richard Leclerc are going to be on the front row. Hunter Simpson and Tyler Millette back in row number 2. Try this again. Bill Gentry, Hunter Simpson in row number 1. Richard Leclerc, Tyler Millette make up row number 2. Ray Rittenor. Actually, I think everybody else is going to be single file behind. That is exactly how it's going to be. The entire field is going to be single file on the low side. So that is why just the 3 cars staying out on the racetrack. Puts Bill Gentry on the front row with Richard Leclerc. Then everybody else behind. I think looks like Tyler Millette might have got a speeding in the pits. That's why he has to start at the tail end in front of everybody else. But here they come, this entire field making their way to the green flag with a pretty much single file start. As Richard Leclerc are going to be all by himself up on that high side as they make their way to the United Rentals restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We are back racing. Richard Leclerc going to try to do everything he can to make his way back down in line. Unfortunately for him so far, not able to do it, but he's got some help coming now. It's Ken Byers going to shoot up to that high side. Looks like Frank Hughes Jr. also shooting up to the high side. So high side starting to get some momentum now as a bunch of drivers jumping up there to help Richard Leclerc out. The field makes their way down into turn number 3. We've got 3 wide racing in the back of the field. Meanwhile, Tyler Millette on the inside. Kenneth Byers giving a big shove to Richard Leclerc up on that high side as they come down to the tri-oval. Here comes Justin McMahon, who's got some help in the form of Josh Cully, trying to make it 3 wide here as they come down through the tri-oval across the stripe. But out front, the 4 of Bill Gentry all by himself. Now Richard Leclerc and Hunter Simpson side by side as it's 3 wide behind for about 4 or 5 rows deep as they come down the backstretch with 18 laps to go. Now we're starting to see this momentum and this intensity really starting to heat up as Justin McMahon's going to go up to the high side with a big push from Josh Cully. And those two are going to take the lead as they come down into turn number 3. In the chat, we see someone cheering on Richard Leclerc. Sorry, my French is not where it needs to be right now. As Justin McMahon, Josh Cully, Bill Gentry going to be lined up 3 in a row. And then behind it is 3 and 4 wide racing. Behind 4 wide racing now. Back to 3 wide racing. We saw the 14 of Mark Dumont. Get a little bit of contact there, get a little sideways, but 3 wide racing throughout the middle of the pack right now. As the field makes their way down into turn at number 3, Justin McMahon, Josh Cully, Bill Gentry, now Gary Clune making a little bit of a 4-car breakaway as here comes Hunter Simpson and Tyler Millette trying to add to the party, as well as that low lane starting to get all the momentum going as we are coming to 16 laps to go. Also, don't forget to tune into Intensity Broadcasting tomorrow night as the SCSRA starts their postseason as well. Their playoffs start tomorrow night from Darlington Speedway, so check that out tomorrow night here on Intensity Broadcasting as Justin McMahon gets shot out of line. He's going to fall all the way to the back. He is in trouble on that inside lane. He's going to make his way up, but fall all the way back into the 10th position. Not really quite sure what happened there. Let's go back and take a look here. Yeah, it doesn't look like he made any contact. Just looks like he pulled off lane. Maybe he didn't want to be out front leading laps, trying to save some fuel. As the field now starting to get a little bit more single file for the time being. Seeing lots of cheering for Richard Leclerc in the chat. See, don't give up, Richard Leclerc in the chat here. Very good, Richard Leclerc. And let's go, Rich, in the Facebook chat. Cheering on Richard Leclerc right now, who is currently, where Leclerc has fallen back to, currently in the 12th position. But he's up on that high side right now, following the 0-0 of Jason Ross. We've seen that top lane really get some momentum and get things moving, and already Richard Leclerc about to pop into the top 5 up there on that high side. As that top lane momentum really going as Mark Dumont, the other Canadian in the field, goes to the top of the podium in that 14 machine. But here comes Ken Byers, Jason Ross, and Richard Leclerc up on the high side trying to get something going. Adam Gardner in that mix as well. Now Ken Byers and Jason Ross side by side for the top spot with just 12 laps to go, which is not a lot of time to get things rolling here at Talladega Superspeedway. This is about the time where I start to think about my moves, think about what's going to happen, try to make some things happen. But really, it's all about chess. It's like playing chess at 200 miles an hour. These drivers are kind of thinking about their moves, planning out things, seeing what's happening around them. One wrong move can send you all the way to the back of the pack, or even worse, tear up a bunch of race cars as they come down across the stripe for 11 laps to go. Kenneth Byers on the inside getting pushed by Mark Dumont. Jason Ross on the outside getting pushed by Richard Leclerc. Now Adam Gardner going up to the high side, trying to make it 3 wide. With the 33 of Kevin Brown up there on the high side of Richard Leclerc. Now Kevin Brown's going to tuck down into the inside. That's going to leave Adam Gardner hanging out there all by himself. He's going to fall back all the way to the 10th position. Up front, Ken Byers all by himself with the 14 of Mark Dumont. Right behind, 10 laps to go here from Talladega Superspeedway. Still anybody's race right now is Jason Ross up on that high side trying to get some momentum. Josh Cully up into the 3rd position, made some moves, got himself up there. Big movers here. Kenneth Byers up 21 spots from where he started up into the lead. Josh Cully up 18 spots from where he started up in the 3rd. Jason Ross up 14 spots up in the 4th. Right now, I'm looking at this middle part of the group. This group led by Jason Ross here up on the high side, Richard Leclerc, Kevin Brown, Adam Gardner. These drivers up a little bit on the aggressive side here, as you see Kevin Brown looking to the outside of Richard Leclerc. Adam Gardner trying to go with him. And I think this is where the desperation moves are going to start to be made here in the middle of the pack. As the laps start to wind down, as we start to get 5, 6, 7 laps to go, we're going to see these lanes start being 3. We might even see some 4-wide racing here in the middle of the pack. Meanwhile, Mark Dumont and Kenneth Byers still sit here up in the front with Josh Cully in the 3rd spot. But a lot of racing left to go, and surprisingly, a lot of drivers still single file. We look at the field come through the entire bottom lane, all single file. Then you've got 2 cars in the middle, then 2 cars on the outside, just 2 lanes wide of 2 rows of 3 lanes wide in the middle of the pack here. As I think Richard Leclerc is probably going to go up here, up onto the high side with Adam Gardner and Kevin Brown as they start to get a little bit more formed up in single file. No, Leclerc's going to fall all the way back. Is he going to be able to tuck in here? Is he going to try to get around Adam Gardner, which he will? Gardner's going to slide in behind. Here comes Leclerc. Going to try to get up to Kevin Brown. And here is where the excitement happens. You've got a bunch of cars here getting lined up in the back of the pack with just a few laps to go. I would not be surprised to see drivers starting to pull out in front of those drivers up on that high side as they get some momentum going, making that top lane grow. See checkups and bumping and banging. That's when things start to get really exciting here, as right now everybody continues to stay single file. I think fuel mileage might be at play a little bit as well. These drivers were last down on pit road on lap 27. Some pit even earlier than that. So a few drivers might be in a little bit of trouble fuel-wise. So everybody kind of come down pit road between laps 14 and 16. on that first run here. Everybody was down on lap 26 to 27. So it's going to be close here on fuel as these drivers make their way down the backstretch, all single file. The driver who's burning the most fuel right now, that is the 99 of Ken Byers, who's leading this train. By leading that train, he is pushing the most air. And there it goes. We were talking about that top lane starting to get formed up a little bit. And here they go. Gary Clune going to lead that top lane right now. Kevin Brown was in that lane. Just kind of got shuffled out. Now he's falling backwards on that high lane. Adam Gardner, though, right to the back bumper of that 11 of Clune. Starting to make things happen. 5 to go here, 4.5 to go as they come down the backstretch there, approaching the lap car of Matthew Smith. You see a lot of jockeying for position down in the middle and back of the pack. Will that continue as here comes the 14 of Mark Dumont jumping up to the high side in front of Gary Clune. He's going to get a little bit of a shove here, see if he can get by Ken Byers as it come down the back, off the turn number 4, through the short chute and down into the travel. That is Jackson Sibley coming down on the pit road as we're going to have 4 laps to go. Adam Gardner now giving Gary Clune a big shove here through the travel and towards turn number 1. Still 2 wide throughout the entire pack. Little 3 wide row way back in the pack, but Adam Gardner giving a big shove to the 11 of Gary Clune as they come down through turns 1 and 2. Clune just a little lower than that 56 of Gardner. Seeing if he's going to make a dive down to the inside as Mark Dumont working with the 83 of Chris Leftwich down there. Now Clune's going to block that low lane. Ooh, big wiggle out of the 9 of Stephen Bonomo. As 3 wide starting to get lined up in the back of the field, but might be a little too late as we are coming to 3 laps to go. Kevin Brown, Michael Dow, and 1 more car lined up on that high side. As now here comes the 56 of Adam Gardner. He's going to jump up to the high side to pick up Kevin Brown as Mark Dumont and Gary Clune continue to lead here with 3 laps to go. Now they're starting to get out a little too far in front of the field. Again, that momentum, that draft, that's going to be a big closing rate for those drivers coming up to the rest of the field. Here comes Stephen Bonomo up in the middle lane. You haven't really talked about him here too much here tonight. He's got a huge shove from Brandon Trush as they come down through turns 3 and 4. Jamie Horn, Daniel Wilkerson in that middle lane as well. Justin McMahon up on the high side. Can he get something rolling here with 2 laps to go? We'll be talking about him in just a few moments as 2 laps to go here from Talladega Superspeedway. 4 wide racing in the back of the pack. Frank Hughes Jr. got shuffled out of line being 4 wide. He's going to fall all the way to the rear of the field. You see Jason Ross and Richard Leclerc back there as well. Meanwhile, Stephen Bonomo leading this race through the middle lane. He's going to have to tuck down to the inside or try to block that 23 because I imagine that 23 is going to try to make a move underneath him as they come down towards turn number 3. Jamie Horn in line, that middle lane. Oh, we got a wreck in behind. Gary Clune got turned around. Yellow flag is out. Big one here in the back of the pack. Gary Clune is involved. Jason Ross, Tyler Millette, Josh Cully, Chris Leftwich involved in this one as well. I think Mark Dumont, a lot of damage to that 14 machine. It looks like Richard Leclerc was able to sneak through that one, though, as we're going to take a look at our wreckage rewind to see where this one started and what happened here in the middle of the pack. So here we go. Gary Clune. They are 3 wide. You see Mark Dumont trying to make it 4 wide there. Just ran out of room there. Comes up into Tyler Millette. Catches Jason Ross. And you see the 83, Chris Leftwich. Just a passenger at that point. Gets turned hard up into the outside wall. Look at the 117 making evasive accidents. Ken Byers as well. And we'll get through it as these cars all get Ray Rittner, our points leader, caught up in this one as well. Bill Gentry gets a piece of it. Man, just turns into a parking lot down in turn number 4. Let's ride along here with Chris Leftwich. And I want to do that because he was really just a bystander in this one. We'll back up just a little bit, kind of thinking he was through this. So from the roof of the 83, and just out of nowhere is hard impact with the outside wall. So see what Mark Dumont had, just the contact there Dumont makes with Clune. Hard contact there. Let's ride along with Richard Leclerc, see exactly what he saw here through this. And we'll get right through it. So as we see everybody coming down pit road, somebody having trouble there on pit road. Was Josh Cully that was turned around on pit road? We're going to rewind this just a little bit. Yeah, looks like he must have had some issues. Oh, he just missed his pit stall. He had to back up. So back to live here. Let's take a look at our running order. Jamie Horn will be your leader. Ken Byers going to restart in position number 2. Brandon Trush and Stephen Bonomo back in row number 2. Justin McMahon rebounds. He's currently in 5th with Daniel Wilkerson in 6th. Adam Gardner and Kevin Brown back in row 4. John Smith, Frank Hughes Jr. back in row number 5. Then Hunter Simpson, Michael Dow, 11th and 12th. 13th is Richard Leclerc with Ray Rittner back in 14th. Christopher Simon and Mike Leftwich back in 16th. Everybody else on pit road getting damage fixed. As we are going to be coming to one to go before we get ourselves a green, white, checkered finish. And I just heard Jamie Horn's going to take the outside here on this restart. That's going to put Brandon Trush to the inside. Stephen Bonomo will be working with that 23, and Justin McMahon going to be pushing Jamie Horn here on the start. So after tonight, just 2 more races before our finale. Next week, we'll go off at Kentucky Speedway and rounding out the series at Homestead, Miami. So just 2 more weeks, Kentucky and Miami, to crown a champion here in the Doghouse Racing League. Tuesday night ARCA series brought to you by Trackside NASCAR Outlet. Trackside NASCAR Outlet is an authorized Lionel dealer with a full line of diecast, including Cup, O'Reilly's truck, driver apparel, hats, and jackets. Trackside NASCAR Outlet offers everything NASCAR, including full-size and mini helmets, flags, and coolers. Stop by and check out their store, follow them on Facebook, or check out their website at tracksidenascaroutlet.com. Again, we're going to have ourselves a green, white checker finish, with the start-finish line being so far down. past the tri-oval. It's going to make for an exciting finish here. It's going to make for an exciting start as well. So here we go. Pace car taking that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. And it's going to be a long way until they get to the United Rentals restart zone here in the middle of the tri-oval. Where the green flag will fly yet again, and we are racing. Just want to note Jackson Sibley has made his way back onto the lead lap. So we're going to have 2 laps to go here. Green-white checker finish. Jamie Horn getting a shove here from Justin McMahon up on that high side. Brandon Trush, Steve Winomo on the low side. As they are 2 by 2 all the way through the field. See Christopher Simon and another driver back there with no nose trying to get things going as Jamie Horn and McMahon push up to the high side. Now they're going to pick up Adam Gardner. And oh, McMahon gets turned back up across the racetrack. Oh, hard contact for McMahon. As they come down across the stripe. That's going to bring up our wreckage rewind. And Justin McMahon just took one of the biggest shots I have ever seen here on iRacing. Let's go back and take a look at this one. Gets the shove here from... actually, they were wrecking behind as well. I'm sorry, that was not Justin McMahon who went for the ride. Actually, it was. This is the wrong wreck. Let's try this again. We see Justin McMahon get turned here. Tries to save it. Gets turned right back up the racetrack. And boom! Gets hit by Chris Leftwich, who gets up and over on his lid. Just those two involved as Leftwich continues to flip down the backstretch here. We're going to bring you live because this is the final lap. We only have one green-white checker here in the Doghouse Racing League. And as they come to the stripe, Jamie Horn will be your winner here tonight. John Smith going to come back in second. And Hunter Simpson's going to take P3 as Adam Gardner comes down pit road as he was the cause of the caution. So Hunter Simpson going to take that third position as Jamie Horn gets done here at Talladega in the Dagnabbit 125. Let's go back to this incident here. I want to ride along here with Justin McMahon real quick. Just so you can see just how much of a passenger he became. He was pushing Jamie Horn, trying to get him out in front, gets turned right around. At this point, just nothing he could do. What a lick that McMahon takes right there. Here's what Chris Leftwich saw. Just nothing he could do. Tried to avoid it, just was not able to. How about that? Jamie Horn, he said he's been trophy hunting, and that's exactly what he does. Gets the trophy here tonight in the Dagnabbit 125. We got interviews with our winners in just a moment, but first, again, we wanted to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Kick, or over on Twitch. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Don't forget that like button, follow, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. I also want to thank our great partners, Trackside NASCAR Outlet, your authorized Lionel dealer, with a full line of diecast, including Cup O'Reilly's truck, driver apparel, hats, jackets. Check out their website at tracksidenascaroutlet.com. Of course, don't forget to check out the Butt Kicker for all your gaming haptics needs over at thebuttkicker.com. And you got the Doghouse Racing League's website over at Doghouse Racing League for stats, standings, schedules, and more. Check them out over at DoghouseRacingLeague.com. There's your winner, Jamie Horn, who's got the win. Burning it down and celebrating here tonight with his teammate, Hunter Simpson, right there. So we're going to try to burn it out together. Not going to have too much luck, but while we're at it, let's take a look at the rest of the leaderboard here tonight. Okay, Jamie Horn gets the win. John Smith comes home P2. Hunter Simpson, last spot on the podium here in third. Brandon Trush, Richard Leclerc makes it back for fifth place finish. Stephen Bonomo comes home in sixth. Christopher Simon back in seventh. Kevin Brown, Mike Leftwich, and Daniel Wilkerson make up your top 10. Ken Byers back in the 11th spot. Frank Hughes Jr. back in 12th. Michael Dow, Ray Rittenor, and Jackson Sibley make up your top 15. Gary Clune comes home in 16th. Chris Leftwich in 17th. Justin McMahon back in the 18th position. 19th was Adam Gardner and Matthew Smith round out your top 20. Mark Dumont, Josh Cully, Bill Gentry, Tyler Millette, Jason Ross, and Andrew St. Cyr round out the rest of the field here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. As we get ready to talk to our top three drivers. I was going to say starting with Hunter Simpson, but it doesn't look like Simpson's made his way down into the waiting room. Yes, he has. Let's talk with our third place finisher, Hunter Simpson. Hunter, you got Josh up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Working with your teammates there at the end and in the right place at the right time, especially when that last caution came out. Talk us through your strategy there with your race and how close were you on fuel coming to that final yellow there?
I was maybe like a lap and a half to 2 laps to the good, so I wasn't really too worried about fuel, but I was really worried about track position because I just got stuck on the bottom and had nowhere to go. So I was just trying to find a way, and luckily through some pit stops and, being at the right lane at the right time, the bottom lane just fell out on that final restart. So I just tried to make some moves and keep my foot in it, but also be safe. But the whole goal tonight was coming here, lead as many laps, try and get as many stage points, and finish as best as I could so I can try and hold that points lead, and I think I did real good with that. So I'm real happy with it. Congrats to Jamie on the win. I wish Justin wouldn't have got wrecked. That didn't seem right. He's trying to run for points too, but we'll look at it and we'll see what really happened.
Yeah, just looked like a bad push there from the 56 trying to get that top lane rolling. And speaking of which, the top lane seemed to be a good spot to be. Sometimes in these super speedway races, it seems like one lane kind of gets lane locked. Either the top lane gets lane locked or the bottom lane. But tonight it seemed like any lane was really the lane to be in. We saw the middle lane even making its way up to the front. Did that kind of surprise you as fluid as the lanes were here tonight?
Not really. What surprised me is just how crazy some people was. I mean, everybody knows we're running. I think this is our last 3 races, and everybody's. I mean, I know it's super speedway, but there's just some moves out there pushing people below the double yellow line. That's just not cool, especially for the people that are running for points. So that surprised me more than anything.
Well, next week we move on to Kentucky Speedway. How do you like your chances there at the 1.5 miles?
That's my home state track. My home track is actually Bristol because I'm closer to that. But we'll practice real well, and hopefully we keep the points lead and have a good margin going into the final race if I can. I love Kentucky. I usually run pretty good there, so we'll practice and we'll see how it goes. Just luck of the draw sometimes, pit stops and lap cars. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, again, awesome job here coming on the podium here tonight in at Talladega. I know survival of the fittest, kind of the way to be here. But before I let you go, anyone you want to thank? Any shots you got to give here tonight?
I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I want to congratulate Jamie on the win. Congratulate Jonathan on his good finish. It's good to see him up there. All my teammates, it was fun running with them. Thank you guys for the broadcast. Thanks Daniel for everything that he does, and all the admins. Once again, all my teammates, all my friends and family, my girlfriend, Emily. I did good tonight, so you don't have to beat me tonight or nothing. So, all my personal sponsors, SSR Designs, Adam Looney Foundation, True Patriot Designs. I think there's some league sponsors, Butt Kicker, all that. I want to say hi to all my family, Wyatt, Alabama, Reese, Mason, Bentley, my dad, Johnny. I love them all. Once again, if you're ever feeling alone, you can call 988. It is a suicide awareness hotline. You're never truly alone, and hopefully next week I'll get a win for my mother.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations here tonight. Good luck next week, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
One more thing. The aliens have landed. I'll see you next week.
Have a great night. So that was your third place finisher there, Hunter Simpson. Let's bring in your second place finisher here tonight, John Smith. John, you got Josh up the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Kind of a story of all over the place tonight. You're up at the front, out in the back, kind of in the middle, stuck in the middle. You've been everywhere here tonight. Find yourself runner up here tonight at Talladega. Talk us through a race, and what was your strategy coming in here tonight?
Big strategy is not wreck. It's kind of the same thing. I hope I pulled the right lottery ticket at these super speedways, and just happened to work out tonight. But I came in the race a little bit late to the practice session, forgot to set my offset, so I'm driving with +10 offset all night, so I couldn't really push very well. I felt like I was just steering right the whole time. I felt like I had damaged the entire race, but I'm not able to make it to the front near that first stage and got spun on pit road. Not really Rittenauer's fault there. I mean, we all came in grouped up together. I tried to speed past them, but I didn't want to break the limit either. So just got a little in there and fell back. And then second stage, I was just trying to stay back, mind my business, and save fuel. That caution came out at a good time, filled up, and was able to get lucky enough to catch the right draft to the front, and that was about it.
I mentioned it to Hunter Simpson. It seemed like a lot of times here in these super speedway races, one lane kind of gets lane locked. Seemed like the track was very fluid here tonight. The top lane moved, the middle lane moved, the bottom lane moved. Was that kind of surprising to you that you kind of pick and choose what lane you wanted to be in here tonight?
Yeah, kind of, because I've seen these other cars that sometimes the high lane is just not it here. Sometimes it is, but these ARCA cars, I think the draft is almost too good. The way it just pulls up behind people, you think the lane's checking up, but it's just because everybody's drafting up so quickly. So it seems like a lot of checkups, but it's just good drafting cars and trying to get around people. Made a lot of moves I didn't want to make at the time, but the lane was getting so slow that I just had to get around to avoid a wreck. But yeah, I mean, like every lane was moving pretty well. I didn't really have a preference. I tend to stay on the inside, especially on that second stage, so I could save at least some fuel taking the short side of the track. But ended up having to go high there to get around some people and decided just to send it there at the end. Yeah, again, lucky caution kind of saved me.
Well, next week we move on to Kentucky Speedway. How do you like your chances there?
Kentucky's all right. I feel like Simpson's pretty good out there. I think me and him are right beside each other in points, so that's going to be the guy for me to beat next week at least. Going in there, I think that might be a hometown track for him too, so that's a little something added for him. But yeah, I don't know. I got to do some practice sessions. I can't remember too much about Kentucky, but we'll figure it out and hopefully pick up a good finish there and move on to Homestead and finish the season off strong.
Well, of course, congratulations on the runner-up here tonight, John. Before we let you go, anyone want to thank? Any shout you got to give?
Yeah, big shout out to Nap Daddy Racing, Engine 4 Coffee, Doghouse Racing League, and all the other sponsors that help pull in the league, Trackside NASCAR Outlet, Butt Kicker, SSR Designs. I'm probably forgetting a few. Thanks for doing the broadcast. We appreciate you doing all the work for us and putting on a good show. And a special shout out to the admins for all the work they put in, and for my spotter, Hunter Foley, who is helping me out tonight.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the runner-up. Good luck next week, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a great night. As your second place finisher, John Smith, let's bring in your winner here tonight, driver of the 48 machine, Jamie Horn. Jamie, you got Josh up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, right place at the right time here tonight. Find yourself up at the top of the leaderboard. That caution came out to kind of in that green-white checker. Kind of surprising there, but man, a great run for you and the team here tonight. Talk us through your race and what the strategy was for you guys here tonight.
Yeah, really and honestly, I went in with a different mentality. I usually don't have good luck at these tracks, so I just went in with I'm gonna race hard and kind of I don't care if I wreck kind of mentality. And I wasn't doing anything dumb, really. Just I wasn't focused on what might happen, which is probably a little easier when you're not running for points to think that way. But then about midway through, after that stage caution, I was barely going to make it on fuel, so I was just trying to ride around and hang out till about 5-6 laps to go, and then we had that caution come out, and yeah, somehow at the end there I just got lucky, and I hate Justin got wrecked, but it ended up caution coming out and ended up giving me the win. So I'm just kind of shocked. I'm not used to winning at a super speedway. That never happens. So usually I'm upside down.
Yeah, tonight you were able to keep the shiny side up, and I'm going to say the same thing I said to the last two guys. Seemed really interesting that normally here at Talladega, these cars kind of get lane locked. The bottom lane works or the top lane works. Never really all lanes work. And tonight, track seemed really fluid. Kind of the middle lane worked, the top lane worked, bottom lane worked. Kind of run where you want to be. That kind of surprised you and kind of shake up the strategy here, how you ran this race, knowing that any lane could get to the front?
A little bit. So I did some testing last night in practicing and seeing that you could kind of run wherever, and especially if you were on the outside of somebody, you could get to their right rear quarter panel, and you could really pull them up or pull them back and get a good run. And it seemed like if you were on the high side of whoever, you would actually prevail on that upper lane or higher lane. So that's what I was telling Hunter a second ago. There was no way at the end I was giving up the middle to the high lane, because if anybody got to your right rear quarter panel, they could just pull you back and go right by you. And some of the testing I had done last night, you might have seen or might remember the move I pulled on Brandon there right before the end of the stage. I'd done that several times. Of you could pull out as a single car and no help and side draft just right, and you could get around them. So yeah, it was kind of one of those. I knew I didn't want anybody to get on the outside of me, and I was more blocking if somebody tried to make a high lane than I was the bottom lane. Just never got to get around and get the wide. I was hoping we could race it out. It was going to be fun there at the end.
Well, next week we move on to Kentucky Speedway. How do you like your chances there at the 1.5 miles?
I like the track a lot. We'll see how it goes. I think we'll be fast. We've already been practicing there some as a team, so I like the track, like how the car feels. So I think we're going to have a good piece, and yeah, maybe go try to get 3 wins in a row. That'd be nice.
And lastly, before we let you go, anyone want to thank any shots you got to give here tonight, Jamie?
Oh yeah, shout out to you for the broadcast. Love going back rewatching the broadcast. Our sponsor for the series, Trackside NASCAR Outlet. All our series sponsors, Snap Daddy Designs, SSR Designs, Shoney's, Butt Kicker, Group 6, everybody that sponsors the lead to help keep it going. Shout out to Hunter and Jonathan Smith on their good finishes and good runs. Most of the team had a good run, just a couple of them had a bad ending. I hate that for them. And last but not least, shout out to my mom at home watching.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the win here at a super speedway of all places, and good luck next week. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon, and have a great night.
Yes, sir. You too.
Take care. So that's going to do it for us here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway in the Doghouse Racing League Trackside NASCAR Outlet ARCA Series in the Dagnabbit 125 won by Jamie Horn here tonight. Of course, don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for the SCSRA playoffs starting at Darlington. That's going to be a great one here. And then right here next week, right back here at Kentucky. So again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. And as our boy Atman Weiss would say,